Greetings YouTube and Diablo Immortal, Troban Gaming here. Coming to go over a maximum DPS build for raids for your Tempest. We'll start out with the gear. My charm is next to nothing, I only have one on it. For gear, I have a 2-piece Shaobas for primary attack damage, since that's going to be your most damaging ability. 4-piece V-Thus. We want attack speed because we do have a lot of buffs we're using and beneficial duration. And then lastly, I have a 2-piece Banquet of Eyes. You can mix this up a little bit, maybe use 4-piece Shaobas, I've heard. It's all about the same, not too much different there. Now, as far as the set items I have, we're going to go with Dream and Drown. What this is going to do is allow your Cascade to empower you and your Zephyrs to attack, release waves at enemies you hit, dealing damage to them and nearby enemies. Now, there is another essence that does almost the exact same damage. I've tested it over and over, and I really couldn't decide between which one does more damage. It is the Sumptuous Swell. Cascade now periodically unleashes bursts of water from you and your Zephyrs, damaging nearby enemies. Again, both almost identical in damage. I'm just choosing Dream and Drown. Same uptime, same casting, everything else, so we're going with that one. Over here, that's a Cascade. Next, we have Cascade causes enemies hit to become vulnerable, taking extra critical hit damage. We're going to do a lot of critical hits, and this is just going to make a lot of extra damage come out of that. This is every time Cascade hits. Since Cascade's hitting all the time, they're always going to be taking that damage. It's really wonderful. Next, Vortex. We're going to use Vortex, and it's going to shatter the enemy's armor. They're going to be taking 24% extra damage. This is every time Vortex hits. It's going to be hitting almost all the time. It's going to have almost 100% uptime. We have a Vortex cooldown reduction here by 10%, and a Vortex cooldown reduction here, giving it almost 100% uptime for that 24% armor break. While we're here, Vortex will also increase your primary attack speed, which is different than your attack speed. So it kind of stacks with that, and it does every time it hits. Again, going to keep your attack speed up 24% extra. The Zephyrs, here's your attack speed, here's your primary attack speed. Your Zephyrs are going to increase your attack speed by 11% for each one you control. That's just a little bit extra. There's almost nothing else on the pants that are going to beat that 11% attack speed you're going to get. Going down to weapons, Wind Edge becomes empowered. Every 6 seconds, it's going to do a little bit of extra damage, and it's going to do an armor break for 3 seconds. Armor break for 16% on 3 seconds every 6 makes it about 8% total damage. Down here, Crosswinds. Crosswind critical hits, going to cause 4 blades to shatter off the target. This is not going to help your damage on single targets, but there is no other primary weapon attribute that you can apply that's going to do anything else. So you might as well put this on so that you can hit those other targets if there are any. And next, Crosswinds now empowers your edge with wind, causing you and your Zephyr's primary attack to unleash wind blades. So for those of you that don't know, this Crosswinds allows you to make Firestorm when hitting something with fire and wind. The skill of Storm Fury, which reads that you're using wind, does not proc Firestorm, even though you're hitting things with fire and wind. So this will make Firestorm, this will not make Firestorm. However, we are using them both. We're using the vanilla Storm Fury. It's going to add wind damage, add a little bit extra damage to all of our base attacks. Crosswinds, going to give our attacks that extra damage. Critical hits again, hitting whatever's around. Next, we have Cascade. Cascade is going to be making our hits do extra damage, making them vulnerable to critical hits. And the Vortex, shattering armor, giving us attack speed. Finally, the Wind Edge skill. We're going to be using that, slicing through the enemy's armor, giving us about 8% extra total damage. I'm going to go over 1 minute so we can take a view and see what this damage looks like over a 1 minute time. So as you can see, you see the firestorms procking up, and you're going to see those. Every time the enemy's burning and you're doing wind attacks, you're going to have those firestorms. You can see how long the buffs last, with the party buff lasting the longest, which is nice, and the vortex being the shortest, which is fine. because every time you recast the vortex, you're going to, again, keep that up 100%. It's not showing very well here, but I guarantee you that that vortex is not falling off much at all. Pushing this DPS, we have one Zephyr we're constantly spawning, and that's fine. The Zephyr damage is not where most of your damage is coming from. Most of your damage is coming from your actual primary attacks. If you, however, played a Necromancer and perhaps you have the Shepherd set, maybe having more of these Zephyrs would help. And there we have it, a 1 minute. That's the DPS, 205 million. If you guys could notice anything I do a little bit better, a little bit different, let me know in the comments. But from what I've found, I think this is going to be the top build for DPS. It's super fun, absolutely wonderful. Thank you, and happy hunting.